Did you know that engaging in play and laughter has been known to significantly reduce stress and improve overall well-being? But many adults, particularly entrepreneurs, often forget to embrace joy. Well, today's guest, Amy Dickens, is here to change that. I'm so excited. We all need more joy. Welcome to the Wickedly Branded podcast. I am your host, Beverly Cornell, and the founder and fairy godmother of brand clarity here at Wickedly Branded. Amy Dickens is the creator of Joyfully You, and she has made her mission to bring joy and play into spaces that often are consumed by stress and seriousness. Amy is the author of 100 Ways to Spread Joy and the host of the Joyfully You podcast. She is here today to share her journey of turning joy into a powerful tool for transformation and growth. Amy, I am so excited to have you on the show and to talk all about joy.
I'm excited to be here. Thank you so much for having me.
I love your brand. So talk about how you got to this place of joy, because I feel maybe that's not how you started.
Thank you for assuming that, because on the regular, I'm having to do a lot of around the world people being like, oh my God, you must have just been born this way. You were born this sunshiny. And I'm like, absolutely not. Could that not have been further from this reality of my situation? I have done a lot of work to become this, and it's still a constant work in progress. There's always been like a silly part of me, of course. I was shy as a little kid. Oh, I don't want to talk to anybody. And then if you get to know me, I would jump out of the Jack in the Box and just be the strangest little kid that you've probably ever seen. As I started getting older and became a young adult, that shyness became absolutely bonkers social anxiety. I literally lived with someone my sophomore year of college and did not meet two of the people that I lived with. I memorized their schedules and got so anxious that I diverted my path from ever even seeing their faces or saying hello. I was like anxious and depressed. I think I'm one of the miserable ones that was forgotten, and I have no gifts or purpose in this world. And I would be obsessed with trying to figure out what is my purpose, crying myself to sleep at night, trying to figure out what is it that I'm here on this earth to do. I needed to unbecome all of the fear and anxiety to even fathom becoming the version of me that I am today, where I have microphones constantly in front of me and in my hand. Being seen is a very big part of my purpose. And I was terrified of even being seen. That was like not something that I was like, yeah, absolutely not.
That is such a transformation, because not only are you in front of people on your podcast and you're guesting on podcasts, but being visible is a step of courage and bravery. You show yourself in ways that are very vulnerable, in ways that most people will never want to do. My word of 2026 is visibility. It is to show up with more bravery and courage, to share my story more. I love that this is what we're talking about today. I think visibility has a lot of social construct around it, right? Talk to me about what are some of your steps? What are your go-tos help you get here?
I was like in that misery kind of state. So I was just trying everything and anything. I've spent 12 years being like, oh, let's do the coaching certification and become a yoga teacher and meditation and breath work and energy work and everything and anything under the sun. And a lot of that helped me somewhat. And that's honestly what really brought me to be so passionate about joy and play. My go-to form of suffering personally is freeze. There's a fight and flight, and mine is glaze over. It seems like Amy's perfectly fine, but internally my system is just in that play dead mode. It's so subtle. It took me a really long time to figure out when it was in that kind of mode, because meditating and more traditional things that you hear about weren't really giving me the results that I was looking for. Everyone plays in different ways, and that's really important for each of us to learn how we do that. But for me, when I'm laughing and playing, it has healed my nervous system time and time again and built resilience inside of me in wildly new ways. If I can incorporate some kind of play into it, I very quickly step into, oh, okay, I'm confident in this. It tells your whole brain, your body, your nervous system, it's safe to be in connection with yourself and other people. It's also an incredible way to learn. It's the highway to learning any new skills.
It opens your brain in a different way.
There are neural pathways. Your body is just like, oh my God, I'm filled with dopamine and serotonin and endorphins. It's telling your whole brain, body, nervous system, yes, more of this. We love that. We're going to keep doing it.
Yeah. You did all these things. You did yoga. Yes. How did you land on
I was traveling around the world for a long time, and I would live in different communities for 1 to 3 months. And there would always be 1 to 2 people that would seriously sit me down and be like, Amy, you are a real joy bringer. You're a ray of sunshine. And I was just noticing people that don't know each other, they're from all over the world and in completely different cultures and settings, are all having this same exact noticing and reflection. Something in me was like, wow, okay, I am lighting up these spaces. I'm energizing the room just by being myself. I'm enjoying doing what I'm doing for the first time in my whole life. There's got to be something here. there. I think from there, I was just, okay, I don't really know what I'm doing, but I know that joy is the thing before it ever was a business, because the core calling was to find my purpose. And to me, I realized, oh, your purpose is who you are. Realize I can be myself, be the joy. And then step 2 was, oh, wow, I want to make this business and share it with the world.
So you became in alignment with what the world was telling you and what you were feeling inside of what brought you joy. Everyone talks about authenticity, but I feel like it's also alignment. When you're in alignment, things change for you in such a powerful way. Once you accepted that, things shift for you, opportunities come to you once you said, okay, this is what I'm going to do.
I'm in one of those phases right now where I feel I'm back in the serendipity mode. My whole schedule just shifted this morning when someone came up and they're like, hey, would you like to lead a leadership and play workshop next month? And that would be great. That would never have happened if my schedule didn't change and all of these things. Wow, I love this. Honestly, one of my big shadows and wounds and vulnerabilities is doubt. I really struggle with imposter syndrome and doubt and this deep fear of leading people the wrong way. There's some part of me that's full steam ahead. We're on mission to spread joy around the world, and another part of me is hold back now. And I think that stops the serendipity from flowing in certain. That's been going away recently, and we're back in serendipity.
So how can people use joy? All of us need to curate it in ourselves as well. So how can we curate it when we're stressed out and overwhelmed? But how do we, in those moments of stress, can we bring more joy? Now, what if I only have a couple of minutes? How do I refocus that?
This is such an important question to me because I have been decrowned queen of burnout. We have thrown that crown away and we are never taking that seat again. When I first started my business, I honestly had the worst burnout of my life where I could not get out of bed. I was genuinely scared. And my coach at the time said, Amy, you should start a coaching class course, Journey to Joy, where you teach people how to live their lives and work with joy. I'm completely burnt out. That feels like the biggest imposter syndrome thing I could ever possibly imagine. And in the years since then, I feel I've been riding that wave of learning how to walk that walk. And it's a constant work in progress. There's definitely a little achiever in me that always wants to strive, but then realizes when I am enjoying what I'm doing, the how of my life, that is the point. And that's been it's a rewiring and a total relearning, an unlearning and a relearning of how to work. And I think having such a big health moment like that, still, it's honestly, my body's still recovering in some senses. I'm doing so well, but it really gave me a health scare that I think it's, I can't push myself balls to the wall like that. Right? Can't keep going like that. So I have a little more, okay, we're going to check in a little more and really notice how is everything going while I'm working. And the simplest life hack that has really helped me, but I have a happy go-to playlist that I have in the background of work as often as I possibly can. And I make myself wiggle and move and dance and take a one song dance break. And that's the bare minimum that has genuinely because I will sit there with my shoulders up to my ears and be, I'm so focused. I'm doing such good work here. And then, how many hours have passed and then I'm, wow, I forgot that I'm a human in a body and I don't feel very good right now. Sometimes I'll be, I'm doing social media. I could just lounge in a chair for a little bit while I do my posting on social media. And that feels really great. As a woman, I think that personally grew up with this mentality of, I can do it just the boys and better than them. And I'm not a man. I'm a woman and I'm living this feminine body and we are all unique as individuals. I think that's part of our joy is to live in that authentic trueness to ourselves, which is different from every single person on the planet. Sometimes I think the joy in our work is learning how to slow down or to work in a different way so that it gets less to that space of, I need a break, I'm freaking out. And the quicker when we get to that point of, I need a moment and we can have the discipline, because let's be honest, it takes discipline sometimes to put pause on the brakes when we're in that. I think changing your environment as quickly as you can really help. Even if you're just step outside and up at the sky and zoom out. Literally, I try to zoom out to imagine, okay, I'm back on rock. And yes, my mission is important and it makes a difference, but it helps whatever thing that I've zoomed in on that feels like a big problem, really intense on my nervous system. It makes it feel just very small all of a sudden. And for me, movement, some kind of movement, I would say for everyone, our brain and our body and our stress follows our physiology. So we can do mindset work. I'm all about that as well. But if you first start with, okay, if I'm stressed, my shoulders are up here, I'm really in a crunchy kind of posture. But when you're feeling joyful, you're like, I'm relaxed, I'm open, I talk bigger with my hands, and my face is probably more expressive, and all of these things. So whatever that might be for you, it might be a 5-minute walk. It might be I'm going to dance for 5 minutes, even though I don't feel it. It might be I'm just going to chill out in the sun for a second and just look up at the miracle of the sky, but literally change, or maybe it might be calling a friend for 5 minutes or something. But changing your physiology is the biggest life hack, and it can happen very quickly. The quicker you practice.
I have to ask, I have
Yes,
this
please.
burning question because you're talking about changing your environment. On your website, you have a picture of a disco ball.
Yes.
I have a disco ball in my office.
I also do. Every room in the house.
Yeah.
Twinkle.
So my disco ball is not the fanciest metal one. It's the light one that, if you go to a concert or whatever.
Those are fun.
I wanted to spin. So I have the one here that I can change the colors and all kinds of things. And I got it for exactly that. Light or whatever. Make you feel happy. And think even how you surround yourself. I love that you have your wall painted so beautifully. But I intentionally chose my brand and what I did because it makes me happy.
Yes.
Like it literally brings me joy to do that. Once I've unlocked some of the joy around my brand, what I found was my creativity and my capacity changed.
Yeah.
Now, I do agree with you. I'm working with a physician right now on some things. I have a therapist. I have a coach. I am intentionally working on some of this stuff so that I don't feel that way. But I'm also in the process of writing a book about this stuff, which is interesting. Really about how, specifically for women, we don't work the way men work. So I love the way I'm a woman. This is how the idea is that in post-industrial era, men went to work, did this thing in this particular cycle, 9 to 5, because they had a wife at home to take care of their life at home. And I've always joked for a long time, I need a wife. Susan, I need a wife, that I need someone who's going to take care of the life part so that I can focus more on my work and I won't feel as burnt out. But what I've learned is that I don't need a wife necessarily, but I do need a new way of thinking of the container, of how work works for me. And I'm much more intentional about how I love the thing about the serendipity and the schedule that you said, because I set my schedule. I literally put it on my calendar when I know I'm the most productive, I'm the most creative. So I do not schedule client meetings when I know I should be writing. I know winter is a little bit harder because you're in the recovery phase, I feel, in winter. Totally. And it's okay to give yourself forgiveness in that. This is the thing that's so magical, is that you can create the exact business and your exact day that you want. Right. So if you want a freaking dance break at 2:00 in the afternoon, put it on your calendar. Yeah. Or just make it happen. Set an alarm and timer on your phone, whatever it is. You can do that because you get to decide. You don't need permission, but I know right now Amy and I are giving you permission to take the dance break, go outside, put your face in the sun. You do you. I don't want to say everyone has to go and crawl on the ground because there are bugs and stuff. But at this particular moment, there was really lush grass and I was just like, I'm going to lay on the ground. But you do you, what feels good to you. And so that I think is very empowering, but it does take a little bit of a habit to do it. So that's why sometimes being more intentional with a timer I have found it to be that way, can give yourself permission throughout the day to have those moments. But the idea is that you do what makes you happy. I have things in my office that make me happy. I have sparkly microphone. I have a unicorn pen. And if you're not intentionally creating those moments, those opportunities for yourself, you're missing it. You're missing those moments to make yourself have more joy and have more happiness. So I think you said, be goofy, be eccentric, do the things that you love to do. Who freaking cares? They're not living your life. They're not the one dealing with your burnout and your stress. You do what you need to do to live in the most joy, in the most happiness, the most creative, the most, in your flow and alignment you can. So I'm giving you permission. I know Amy wants to give you permission to do that.
Well, I want to be.
Talk about who you serve and how you help them. Talk about what your business is, Amy.
Yeah, absolutely. I also just want to be like, wow, as you were saying all that, I never really thought about this, but it really is a work smarter, not harder kind of thing, because it puts you into that serendipity.
Yeah, absolutely.
The joy. It's just like, whoa, oh my gosh. That was holding something.
Yeah, you're totally connected with, and just like you said with the neurons, when your neurons, you need to do it 10 to 20 times versus 200 times, that's a lot less work.
Far less work, and it's way more fun.
And I do think, I know for a fact, once I found my joy back in my business, because I lost it for several years as I was momming and during deployments, and I had a really bad hip injury. And I mean, I had a lot of things going on in my personal life that were also very overwhelming. And I didn't have a support system because as a military wife, we move every 3 years. So my mom and my dad were not around. My best friends were not around. They were far away. And I was doing everything myself. And I think having this community of people too can help you. Even talking about joy right now, Amy, brings me more joy.
Yes. It has a way of doing that.
So anyway, I call mine magic. You call yours joy, which is fine. That's the magic. But I know that I unlocked something when I made some intentional decisions to change my brand, to show up more as myself, to be who I was, to not worry about so much other people's judgment. If they weren't for me, it was okay. I don't need to be for everyone. Some of those kinds of choices, when I made those decisions, it was like all these things started lining up, unlocking. It was like a series of those fancy locks, when you unlock the first one, all of a sudden now the next one can unlock. It was as if I needed to do that first choice, that intentional choice. So this is not what I want to do anymore. I do not want to feel like this anymore. I want to feel like this. And I don't think anybody ever told me I could choose to do what I wanted to do. And that's why I think it's so important to give permission and to encourage people to lean more into that. So anyway, you were talking about your clients and how you help them and all that and the connections you were making, but talk about who specifically you serve and what does that look, the transformation that you offer for that.
Yeah, absolutely. So I help people who maybe feel they've lost their spark, maybe feeling a little dull and things like that. And I help them to reclaim that spark, that purpose, that joy, that fire within them. Because to me, that really feels the missing piece almost in the world. A larger picture. I think that each and every one of us is truly living in our purpose, in our authenticity, that we're always all a puzzle piece and that we all need each other to create this full, the puzzle pieces clicking together. So we don't get to all click in with our purpose in all of the ways. And if I'm trying to be your puzzle piece over here, that's not really going to work. It's just not going to click in. And if you're trying to be me, that's also not going to be it. So helping inspire other people to become who it really is that they wish to be is one of my biggest joys, because I just really feel it creates ripples effects of impact in this world beyond what we could ever imagine. And one of my favorite ways of doing that right now, I have a joy parade where I get people dancing in the streets, and it's so fun. It's creating moments of magic it's a joy gym for the people that are in it. We're trying to get up to 100 people in the streets, just dancing every week here in Asheville. Allow it to be, we're practicing joy. It's not always easy to choose joy, to be like, I'm going to dance in the streets. This might be uncomfortable. I'm being seen. But also it's creating that ripple effect of people that are staring at their phone and, oh my gosh, there's like a bunch of people dancing or doing the YMCA in front of me right now or whatever it might be. And then sometimes they join and then it's like, oh, look at this. I'm having a random moment that I get to tell everyone about at the office on Monday. And creating those magic moments for people is something that I'm having so much fun with, and trying to learn how to expand the Joy Parade to go into more conferences and festivals and just see that glitch in the matrix moment in many more spaces. And we're really looking into growing that. And yeah, I'm also getting into a lot more public speaking and seeing events and things, that kind of doing a different pivot now in 2026 of, okay, what does this season of it look like? Just really allowing the in. That's what my inner wisdom is telling me. And that's, I think, also going back to women, I think that is our superpower, is having that intuitive gut feeling and being, wow, don't even know where this nugget of information came from, but I will hold it wisely and hopefully be able to walk forward bravely with it, letting it guide my path.
Like that, when you do it, as a wise old witch, you have to
As a wise old witch, you must, and hold it off with the fear and the wisdom.
We just watched The Never-Ending Story last night with my 10-year-old. But I feel that era of movies is all about the wise old witch. So that's funny that you talk about that. One of the things that I talk about in my why is the idea of when I help the women that we help that are brilliant and brave and burnt out, their magic, it has this ripple effect of creating a more soulful world. And
love
we
this
need more soul in our world. But to be, so the soulful, this wisdom you talk about is very similar to the essence of what I imagine for our people as well. Yeah. And I wanted to go out into the community. I wanted to go to their teams. I wanted to spread in that way, and their magic is contagious as well. And I just think it's our time, Amy. We just have to step into it.
Just gotta keep going, brave.
So tell me how you got to your brand. Tell me what that process was. How did you figure out your name? How did you figure out your colors. Talk about that process.
Yeah, I am going back in time. I was in a coaching certification program, and there was a lot of fun, magical little bits and pieces of that along the way. So it was branding week. And instead of it being think your brand, it was very let your brand come to you. Sit in a meditation, go for a walk in the woods. Don't try and force this thing onto this piece of paper, because that's not going to be something that you're really going to love if you really
No.
So I just was like, I'm just going to have fun this week. And I was just meditating and just dancing and doing my life, living my life. And I think in a meditation, I was like, oh, joyfully you. The words joyfully you is just like, yes, that's it. That's exactly what I want it to be. And at the time, my best friend was doing a lot of web design work. So just, oh, if you give me free coaching, we'll do a little tradesy and I'll help you develop your website. So she really helped me create what.
Yeah, absolutely. You're not alone. That's most people.
So she created my logo, and I was like, yes, oh my gosh. I want it to be fun with these colors and feeling bright and vibrant. And I don't want it to feel stiff and everything else that I see, which is fine. But it's just, I'm not most other people. So my brand can't be most other things I'm seeing. And I want it to feel like a ray of sunshine and just feel. And then the disco balls, I feel like somehow disco balls has ended up on every single thing I do ever now. And that was not a conscious choice. And then eventually I said, oh, wow, everything I make always has a disco ball on it. I guess it's part of my branding now.
For sure. It happens that way. Yeah. I have a wand in my logo because it is about magic, but people now call me the fairy godmother because
I love that.
They just started calling me that. Yeah. So it's okay. I guess I'm that. I have to embrace that. So I do feel that on some level that it just sometimes just happens. But the thing you said that I think was really powerful and that I want the listener to focus on for just a second is you can't find out who you are in chaos and in busyness. No. We spend 90 minutes to 2 hours and we help them slow it down enough and ask the questions enough to get all those magical things that have been in your head down on paper, essentially. Out of your head and out on paper. And once you see it on paper and it's out of here, you allow yourself more room creatively to think of other things. It unlocks something else inside of you. So it's the moment of slowing down, of being intentional in the sense of taking the walk and thinking about it or having the time with us. This idea of you can't do it when you're so busy and overwhelmed. It's just going to be a placeholder or a piece of art. It's not going to really be you. So you do need to give it some love and time, and it can evolve. It's okay if after a couple of years you add a disco ball. That's fine. That is natural because we're organic human beings. It should evolve a little bit as you go. But I love this idea and this concept of don't make it your competitor or don't make it because you feel it needs to be corporate. Make it you. And that is sometimes you need some help to get it out of here out. You said that your friend was able to take what was in here and pull it out of you. And that is important to help you process that. And that's what we'd love to do, to find the golden thread in the story. Yes. Or a disco ball, whatever it is for you. I do have a magic wand. And so I want to hold that. It's connected to my light here. I do have a magic wand.
Wow, that's so fun.
If any marketing issue you have right now or branding issue right now, any question that's been burning in your brain.
What I get to choose one marketing problem. And
maybe you've been on LinkedIn and you're like, why this? Or you've been trying to figure out this one tagline, or maybe there's something that you a little help.
Okay, we are really trying to figure out how to get more people to come to our Joy Parade. Is it supposed to be in the streets? Is it supposed to actually be like in conferences? We're like, where are we being guided with this? Like, whatever that is.
So right now, how do you post about the in the streets thing? How do people find out about it?
Yeah, right now we are doing social media stuff. I do the flyers around town because we're doing it locally. And then I'm also pivoting to being, I think it also wants to be even more in a corporate conference or some kind of women's empowerment event or something like that. I could actually see it like rocking in that kind of a space. So I'm pitching to a bunch of different things, trying to get you.
I think you're going to have to create a habit in some way. So maybe a set time and day, if you're going to do it, maybe the first Tuesday of every month is a joyful day so that you have time to make it almost
right.
And then the people who do come, have them bring a friend the next time. You want them to connect it that way. But the thing that came up for me, which is really interesting, is I feel my girlfriends and I, and there is a concept out there of a women-only club go dancing at.
Yes.
And that's what came up for me was you need to rent out a club or something.
Interesting.
And do like a joyful girls club night or something. That's what came up for me. So I don't know if that's an idea you've ever explored or a concept, but even for a conference, you could do that as the event. When I did library conferences, when I worked for Mango Languages a long time ago, they always had a party at the end of the day of those conferences. And they had karaoke nights, but maybe you need a joyful dance party night.
I love that. I actually was talking to my personal trainer, and she is also does coaching. Yeah, she's very passionate about fitness, and she's a really cool human. We both love dancing. I'm like, this is the thing you're trying to do here.
But even if it's not just her, maybe there are other people.
Yes.
You can use each other's network to help make it that bigger event that you're looking for. Partnerships.
We need to get women. Let's all work together and help us out.
So I'm thinking that maybe because joy is best felt with others, I feel. So maybe it's this collaboration and partnership, and then you do something epic, rent a space. And I think you could even, I have other ideas now. Look at this, what happens. You could do different, even if it's a mini conference, you could do a fitness side of it. You could do everybody who's a partner do a little segment or a section in the conference that end it with this epic dance party.
I love that.
Something like that. Whoever you partner with could be one of the ones that gives a talk, even if it's just a half a day or something. Don't overthink it. And then I do think you should have a virtual aspect of it for those who cannot come. Then you can expand your reach and have even more than 100 people.
That's great. I love it.
Did I wave my magic wand?
You waved a man wand. Look at you in the flow.
I want an invitation. So let me know. Keep me posted. And I don't think you need to do all the heavy lifting yourself. So let others help you create the joy that you want to have. I think that's really fun. Okay, so what advice would you give to an entrepreneur who is feeling overwhelmed or too serious about their marketing per se, specifically around joy itself, how to add joy to the process? Because we try to create some magic, but I think a lot of entrepreneurs, specifically ones who do accounting or operations, think marketing is horrible.
Yeah, I think that's great. For example, as a little metaphor, I don't love doing the dishes, but I have to do the dishes unless I somehow magically find a human that wants to be in my life and is
AI is coming from me. I am all about AI doing my dishes.
Put my dishes in the sink, put them in the dishwasher, and put this away. I don't want to deal with them.
Yes.
And so I think this is the analogy. Okay, there are things sometimes that maybe this isn't our thing, and maybe we can, ask somebody else to do it or outsource it and hire somebody else to do it. Yet at some point we do get to, and that's great because the more we get to do that, the more we get to live in our magic. But how can we enjoy the process along the way? How can we make this as little painstaking and I think a little part of that is a mindset. If you go into something being like, I think we've all been around the kid that's this is awful, I hate this, and then they're just dragging their
and that's contagious too.
It's not always so easy. I don't choose wisely every day, that's for sure. But I would say catching yourself and being, even if it feels a lie maybe at first, to be like, oh, I'm so excited to do this. I'm open to enjoying this process. That's always a nice little, I'm open to having a great experience doing this.
I need that line for my accounting because that is the thing that sucks my soul because I like the creative side of it. But I love the story that the numbers tell.
Oh, totally.
So I've really been embracing more of this is a part of my business when I work on this part, it helps magnify the impact I make. So I need to be really excited about it. So that is a reframe I try to do as well.
Yes.
To root it back into my purpose.
Completely.
It feels more intentional and on purpose and not this torturous task I have to.
When I have to sit there and deal with tech problems, I want to throw my laptop sometimes at the wall and just having a buddy in the room being like, okay, I need you to sit down and do the task right now. Can you just do your own thing over there? And we can something helps me just feel more motivated and it's enjoyable. You can have a little conversation afterwards.
Yes.
And then I have to have something in my ears, even if it's quiet, if that's getting me either laughing. I listen to a funny podcast that has nothing to do with bettering myself or business or anything like that. It's just like purely, I just want to laugh. Like I like listening to Amy Poehler's podcast lately. I love her. She's funny. It's just like conversational and fun. And the whole point of it is to just help people feel like a little bit of levity in their day, and it's just a good time, or just like good time music. And I can sometimes if I'm feeling it, I'm like, I'm doing spreadsheets, but we're feeling the beat and bumping our head to it a little bit. I'm doing spreadsheets. I'm actually listening to a really good song, and that's what I'm also spending half of my brain power focusing on. So I'm not
Yeah.
being like, oh my God, I feel like I'm being dragged on concrete.
It's interesting. So I do have ADHD, and when you talk about body doubling, there is something about body doubling that's very powerful in some of those hard, arduous tasks that feel arduous anyway. The other thing that I do with those kinds of tasks is I use AI to break them down into smaller tasks so they don't become overwhelming.
It helps so much.
But the other thing is I use music as well, but I use it differently. But I love this kind of concept. Like I love happy music, and I have, I always go out, I have Alexa in my kitchen, and when I'm cooking, I say, Alexa, play happy music. But when I am working, I have on Spotify, I have a creative focus, and it has no words. Because if I have words, I get too sucked into that. Maybe I need a happy playlist with no words. Yeah. And I've never ever looked for that. So I need to look for that.
Yeah. The happy play. I used to really be into like the lo-fi beats kind of thing. And
is where
I like being like, I just want to listen to some like romantic Parisian music while I work and pretend that I'm like, I don't know, it's like in Paris. But sometimes I'm like, no, I need to amp myself up.
I'm going to have to find a happy playlist with no words. Yeah. I love it. Because I never thought about that, of having it with no words. I do the creative focus ones. A lot of it's classical music. It's not, but like Bridgerton made like a lot of the more contemporary music into like classical music. So I do some of that, but I've never done the actual happy. Oh, I went really.
Yeah. I was like, wow.
Okay. So the last couple of questions are, what does it mean to you to be wickedly branded? How do you show up as wickedly branded in your life or your work? And what tips would you give listeners to be more bold, authentic, and wickedly branded?
Yeah, I would say to be wickedly branded, to me, it just feels like I am like boldly and authentically an extension of myself. And in a brand, it's like not our whole self, right? So there's often, okay, this is like the version of me that gets to exist in this little corner of this brand, and allowing it to shine and change too, because that's a big thing I'm going through right now is, joyfully you is changing because I'm changing a lot, and just having fun with it and allowing it to really expand into whatever it wants to be, even if that pivot might wildly different from what it initially was.
Yes.
Follow the pivots. And also discerning from what's a pivot and a shiny object syndrome. That's been really big with staying on key with brain, because also neurodivergent brain, I can really like, shiny object. That sounds fun.
That's not just ADHD. I feel like that is an entrepreneurial issue. Yes. So I think there's some ADHD, and maybe it's because a lot of entrepreneurs have neurodivergent brains, but we do love to build stuff. That's why I think for me, having a team to execute some things is super important, so that I can do the shiny object thing to a good discernment, but let them execute the details so that I can live in my magic and my joy.
Yeah.
So how do you show up as wickedly branded, do you think?
I would say the biggest way that I would sense that I show up as wickedly branded is just being myself out in the world, whether it be like with a client or through the screen or on a podcast or like out in the world, just being myself. I think the emanation of being joyfully you feels like, wow, you really are that. Like, it's not fake.
Yeah.
That's just you. Feels, all right, I'm going to stay true to my brand. And obviously, I also am very horizontal and I'm chill, and I got like a whole spectrum of like human being kind of thing.
Yeah. It's real. I remember I was at a conference recently, and like a community event at the chamber, and I was in line to get some food or refreshments or something. And 10 people behind me was somebody, and they were like, I know who that is up there. And I was like, oh, they're talking to me?
Yeah.
And they were like, oh, of course I saw your pink hair. I show up as my brand. Oh, and I actually have sparkly flats. Like I have flats that have iridescent like sequins on them that I wear all the time.
Yes.
He's like, I saw your shoes first and then I saw your hair. I was like, and if I wear those to church, I wear them all the time. It's not like I can take my pink hair off either. So it is essentially who I am when I go out in the world. And I actually have some iridescent tennis shoes as well. Like it's very much a part of who I am. So showing up as you, but I don't sleep in those. Obviously, like you said, I would be very chill and need a lot of rest to be as joyful as I am and magical as I am.
Yeah. Okay. I got my pink fluffy coat. We both have very fun classics, I imagine.
I have a pink, I just bought it, pink tooled long skirt. Like it is as fairy godmother-ish as I could find.
Yes.
And I wore it. I was like wicked. I was like Linda for Halloween, but I'm going to do a photo shoot in it, because I love that freaking skirt so much. And it's big and it's fluffy, and not fluffy, but the tulle. And it like goes all the way like beyond my feet. Like it's just, I love it so much. So yes, I just put in the dirty clothes today.
Very
like sparkle. It has so in it, and it has my pink and my purple and my, yes, I am all about the fun. And it's fluffy because it has the fairy hair like in the fluff. It's super cute. But You have to do you. And I do feel like when you fully embrace your brand, I don't think there's as much difference in my brand as there is in who I am.
Yeah.
I do believe that women inherently are more their business than men are. Like we are more, our work is us in so many ways, like our heart and our soul.
Yeah.
And it is more interconnected than I do believe that men are typically. I'm not making every single person that, but typically. And it is harder for me. One thing that I'm working on as a 50-year-old woman is what do I do once I sell my business?
Yeah.
Who am I outside of my business in 10 years? Because my husband
Yeah.
retires in 5 years from the military. What do I do then? And so how does that look if I sell my business or give it to my children? What does that look like? And I think for women, it's a little bit harder. I don't know why, but I think it's a little bit harder
Oh,
to
yeah.
bring our business as
I've
people.
never thought about that, but I could totally see that.
It's a challenge. Like I am so all in that it's hard to think of
Yeah.
myself without my business. But at some point, I'm going to be a dinosaur, Amy. I will be a dinosaur that does jazz hands, but I will be a dinosaur with my little hands. Where can people find you? What's your website? Do you have any resources or any free downloads?
Yeah.
And then what's your favorite platform to hang out at where people can chat and connect?
My website is livejoyfullyu.com. If you go there, you can find the first 10 pages of my book, 101 Ways to Spread Joy for free. You can get a little sneak peek into that and see if you're like, I want to dive into the full thing. Get a nice little dose of this book. It's all rainbows and fun time and
Super fun.
I was like, I want something that I would like actually read because I think we all have a lot of shelf help books that we never actually pick up.
So good. This has been such a fun conversation, Amy. Thank you.
So great. I've had such a fun time.
I hope that this episode created a little bit more joy for you and maybe made you think a little outside the box differently about how you can approach your work, how you can create more joyful moments in your day, give you some inspiration to take a step or some action towards something that you really believe in. Because here's what I know for sure about the world. Your message matters, your work matters, and the world needs to hear what you have to say. Marketing isn't just about visibility. It's about impact. It's about meaning. It's about connecting with the right people in a way that feels absolutely 100% true to who you are. Keep sharing your brilliance and keep making magic and joy in the world. And hey, do you ever feel stuck? Know that you don't have to do it alone. There are people like Amy and myself that are here to help you turn your spark into a wildfire. But until next time, I'm going to dare you to be wickedly branded.
Wow, what an incredible conversation we just had. I hope that this episode lit a little bit of a fire under you to finally bring your brand to life in a way that feels true to you. Remember, clarity is the spark, but activation is that fire and flame that keeps your message and your visuals and your strategy aligned, and the confidence that follows. So does that lovely thing called momentum that you've been waiting for. So if today's episode, if you loved it, make sure you are subscribed to the Wickedly Branded Marketing Podcast so you never miss an insight or a conversation. Until next time, dare to be wickedly branded.